Good stuff. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. It's Wade T. Lightheart live from the Vortex in Sedona. Here a special presentation for how to strategically manage your business during the current coronavirus, or I would also say the ensuing economic crisis, and unemployment rates have jumped up. Small businesses are closing down all over the place. People don't know where they're going to pay the rent, pay the bills, pay all that sort of stuff. And so what I'm here to share with you is over the last few weeks, I've had the good fortune to be getting some advice from some very, I would say, highly educated people and how to handle this. So I'm going to share with you, not things that I think you should do, is what I'm getting from the experts that are telling me. So I've got 3 different experts who have been advising me during this. One is a fellow by the name of Keith Cunningham and his outfit that I met at the Tony Robbins event, and he has a whole crisis management component. I am going to send that out on the Prosperity and Health Alliance.com sequence as a broadcast, because I think there's some great lessons, and I think Keith does a great job, and he'd be happy that you got this information, and he's a great resource for any business owner. He's very helped me a lot. I'm also going to share some insights from Robbins, which is the group that we got our CFO from, and as well from Squire, which is a tax firm that we use. And so in the crisis that we're dealing with, I think it's important. I touched a little bit about it this week on, health and physicality in business. And today I'm going to talk just about the business. Maybe we'll do health next time. I think a couple things to really, get really clear about is, cash flow. And the thing is most businesses aren't really thinking in terms of cash flow. They think in terms of revenue. And the thing is you have to realize there's multiple things that you're dealing with if you're running your business. So whether that's your home-based business, it's oftentimes a lot of people in the home-based business place don't recognize this. And some people in the, I would say, regular business don't recognize that. So you've got to recognize that you've got to adjust. Your highest priority is to get really clear and really detailed and understand cash is like oxygen. It's your oxygen supply. So you want to be able to accurately estimate the changes that you need to make. Now, here's the most important thing. And first off, I know you've got teams. I know you got people on them and all that sort of stuff. The number one priority is for you to ensure the survival of your business first. And if it's a home-based business, that means the economic survival of your home, because that's like your place that you'd be renting if you were in an office or something. If you're in a business, it's the same thing. You're doing both. You got the business and you got the home on top of it. And then you've got employees. You've got those 3 competing factors that are going on in conjunction. In the case for us, a lot of distributors, you have your distributors. So how do you communicate with your distributors? How you bring information to them? So I'm bringing information to everybody on my team and virtually anybody else that would like to have this as a resource of the things that I've been using and leveraging in order to make things work. And hopefully you can find some value in this. Here's the biggest mistake. Most people in a crisis tend to be overly optimistic about how long they're going to need to be in survival mode. And a lot of people just think it's going to rectify sooner or later. Remember, they said, hey, it looks like we're going to have this for 2 weeks. And now it's extended a month, maybe a couple months. Little thing I've learned in the online web development business is if the programmers tell you it's going to be a month, plan on 2.5 times. So I think if, with all the federally and states or provincially, if you're in Canada or whatever country that you find in, you have to realize that these are big ships. These are millions and millions of people. Then there's all the state dynamics or the provincial dynamics over large spaces. So it's very difficult to accurately predict how long this is going to be. What I would say, it's probably going to be longer than we think and longer than you want it to be. Therefore, you have to rectify sooner than later. Okay. You want to be looking at extending your cash for as long as possible, because you want to be able, when this does turn, that you're able to, get going and, get on it. So try not to go for fluffy generalizations. Try not to get like all pie in the sky. You need to get brutally hardcore honest. And, the good news is, you have to be able to recognize that this won't last forever, and you're in the health industry. So if you're in the health industry, this is going to be an extreme opportunity for you. Maybe not as much in the short term. If you've already been prepped for this short term, it's been good. If you haven't, that's okay. Coming out of this. So how do you prepare yourself coming out of it? Because people are going to be very much more health conscious. So let's talk about a few things. And you can apply this also to your house. So I'm going to just share my screen here. And this is a checklist that came from Keith Cunningham. I want to give him credit for that. So I'm going to actually put the links in where you can get access to this over time. So first thing you want to look at is what's your current cash balance? What do you have in the bank? What's your burn rate? How much capital you got coming in? And one of the great things that I'm super grateful with the Nagic is, the checks have just continued to roll in despite all this, and I'm working from home. And I mean, what a great feeling, what a great company. And that's been wonderful. And I'm super grateful for that. You might not be in the same situation, but the bottom line is you need to look at your current cash balances. Then you need to look at if you have anything that can be overdue or quickly. So for example, you may have situations in your business where you have unpaid, like people that go through your list of, let's say, derelict people who are on the payment program. You might find that there's a bunch of those that are like $300, $400, $500. And you can spend that $300, $400, $500, take care of that and call the person up, let them know and say, hey, I'm going to cover this. You can pay me back later, because that's going to free up a commission for you that might be more than that. So you're paying $500 to get $800 or to get $1,000 or to get whatever, because you're going to get that now, and you can use that to build up your cash reserves. Also, you need to project your cash flow from operations. Assume the current amount is going to not be the same as well. Plan that you're going to see a descending component. So the idea is that you want to be able to assume 3 to 4 months. And by the way, I'm going to talk about some of the resources that are coming from the federal governments that you can get access to. So what is your total monthly expenses? So make a list of all your total monthly expenses that you're spending. How much is that going to be? What things can you cut? What things can you defer? I had a business friend of mine that called up. He got his American Express deferred for the next 3 months. He got no penalties. He got his car payments deferred for 3 months. He got the rent he was paying at his office deferred for several months. So he was right on it. And by the way, he runs a large financial education information center. He's actually my business mentor. And so look at those options as things. But first you want to need, how much is my burn rate? Then you want to cut everything that is extraneous, right? So what's your variable expenses and your fixed expenses? Your fixed expenses are some of these things that may be deferable. Maybe you're paying rent, maybe you're paying mortgages. Talk to your banks. Most of the banks are coming up with plans and stuff. Look at vendors, anything that can be delayed that you can pay. Again, that's what I'm talking about, like these car payments. Maybe you've got gym memberships. Maybe go through everything on your credit card bill, every amount that you can save or defer or push down the road that's going to save you money right now. Okay. The other thing is, look at what you have available in financing, which is credit lines or institutional funding or personal funds that could be injected if necessary. Maybe you have whatever, if you're running a business or whatever. Again, these are some of the things, again, going back to maybe you have some loose ends of payment, maybe you don't have the cash on hand, but you might be able to borrow $500 or $1,000 to pay some of those almost done Enagic payment programs. Kick that into your program and make that. So anything like that, anything that you can liquidate for cash, right? Again, anything that you can turn into cash right now is going to be great for the long term, especially if you're in a really tight situation. So make a list, start moving things, because there's people that out there will be buying. Not everybody is in the same cash position that you are in. And a lot of people who have cash are saying, hey, this is a great buying time. I'm going to buy up a bunch of stuff. So you can get rid of stuff. So a lot of things that you weren't using or whatever, old exercise equipment or whatever that you never used anyway, sell it. A lot of people, the exercise business, home exercise business is erupted right now. Now, look at the burn rate that you have. What's your burn rate? Just what is it? And then how can you squeeze that burn rate down? Going to be home, good time to be learning, good time to be educating, good time to be connecting with your loved ones. Not a good time to be out spending right now. So you want to preserve that. Keep in mind, anything that you can curtail, delay, or whack out of your expenses, do it, right? And this is going to be thing. And there's a thing that Keith talks about, and he says, don't cut the fat. Try not to cut some muscle. You might have to, but don't cut the bone. That's the last thing, right? And then you got to look at the growth expansion rates that you're going to, maybe you're buying a lead campaign, maybe you're buying a bunch of brochures, maybe you're buying an advertising campaign, whatever that happens to be, might be able to dial that back on your expansion or growth plans. Now, that doesn't mean if you are running an online platform and doing ads and things like that, what we've noticed is that buying traffic right now is a little bit less, and people are looking for other ways to start a home business. So that's a great way for you to address this issue. And, people can get on, for example, put people on an Enagic payment program. They can get started in the business right now. That'll bring in a little capital. You can get started really inexpensive. They get a home-based business. Hey, get that thing happening. Why not? Why not learn this now? People are home. People need to do something. Go on offense. This is the defense, but that's the offense side, right? Then you want to have a summary of all the adjustments that you make, right? And how the changes are going to result in your survival for the next 3 to 4 months. Do the math and be clear about your assumptions. Again, try not to be overly optimistic. I just finished a whole webinar for this company, or a whole literally we do it's about an 8-hour meeting every quarter, which we go through every aspect of the business. Now, with the other company I run by Optimizers, and we just had our great quarter. We had the best quarter ever, but we also built for growth, right? So we've got a best case scenario, we've got a worst case scenario, and what's the likely scenario, and we've got contingency plans on that. And I would suggest doing the same. What is an optimal program? What's option? Like what do you think you could do? And I think it's good to always be focused on what can be done. I think it's also, you need to look at what's the worst case scenario look like, what's going to be the survival of my business and my family at this point in time, and slice and dice. Now, again, communication program, communicate with your team, your employees about your plan and how it impacts them, right? People understand that lots of craziness is going on. Just tell everybody. I've been calling up my friends. I've been calling up my loved ones, and I've been calling up the people on my team, and I've been calling up that to go. And I'm presenting this for all the people in my team so that they can start thinking about the strategic. By the way, this is not necessarily the way I've normally operated or thought. I've brought these experts in to share this information with you so that you can get this information as well. So I hope you're writing this down. If not, you can review the video after and take notes. So the other thing is, you gotta, if you can't devise a plan for the next 3 to 4 months, and you don't think that the financial packages that are coming, then you'd have to consider bankruptcy. All right. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And it's depending on where you are in your business and that sort of stuff. That's a business tool, but I would use it as a last resort. What I would say is that for a lot of people, if you followed what I shared with you before, by the deference, by all that sort of stuff, you'll probably end up in a pretty darn good place anyways, because I think the government packages and the way the government has been rolling this out is they're looking at those things right now. So for example, in Canada, I think they're writing a check for $2,000 to every citizen in the United States. It's, it's basically, I think it's $600 or $1,200 per adult and $500 per kid is coming out. And then there are packages coming out, which I'm going to send out in the links on Prosperity and Health Alliance tomorrow, which are to some tax agencies and marketing, which are directing you to where you actually apply for these things. You can also go to your financial institution and ask where you'll be able to apply to. For example, if you have employees in your business, you have an assistant, you have people like that, you can get you can get a grant, and then that grant, or you can get a loan, and then that loan turns into a grant after if you keep the employees on. So I was just sharing that with a few friends or whatever. Remember, all these things are going to pass. The good news is a lot of people are going to get used to working from home. One of the things that Keith recommends is Keith Cunningham. I went to he was one of the featured speakers in Business Mastery at the Tony Robbins event this summer. And he really helped me in such a great way. He's got a video here. I'm going to put a link to his video as well, because I think you can listen to him talk. Got a great Texas drawl, and it's fantastic and gives you some ideas of what to do. Now, 13-week rolling cash reserve, 4 parts. Here's what the beginning cash balance. So you want to look at what's your beginning cash balance and what's your ending cash balance, right? Look at the sources and receipts. So what things do you see coming in your business that's going to be receivables coming in? Maybe you got people on the payment program. Find out if they're going to be able to make those payments, those things. Maybe you got a sale going through. Find out if people are going to go through with that sort of stuff, right? All of this, anything that you can get capital into your account. Use payments and expenditures of cash. So again, holding as much cash as you can for as long as you can. So even when let's say you're in a situation where you might not need that money that's coming in, stockpile that and use that for different things. Keep in mind, you might be in a situation on qualification components where you need to qualify. So you need to look at, because that's going to make sure that you get your quarterly bonus coming up. So make sure you know your numbers. This is the end of March, and quarterly bonuses are going to be determined. So figure out what your quarterly bonus could be if you have to cancel a payment on, say, Ukon or something like that. It's qualified. You got to figure that out so that you can get as much cash as you can on this next turn of the quarterly enhancements, right? So you want to go through all that sort of stuff, get that balance, and keep monitoring it every single week, and then keep pushing it out 13 weeks, right? It's 13 weeks is every quarter. So we've got the end of quarter 1 coming tomorrow. Then you want to plan out 13 weeks will be the end of quarter 2, right? And we know that our quarterly bonuses for those who qualify will be coming in 3 or 4 weeks. So that's going to be an infusion of cash, but you want to make sure that you're qualified for it, right? So go through that. E8PA will help you determine that with your groups. Okay, so those are also things. Don't get generalization, get granular. Find out everything in your business that's going to be coming in and what's not going to be coming in, what's going to be going out. The farther you forecast, the less precise you're going to be. So it's going to be a lot harder as you go out. Those are just the realities of life. So if you do all that, you're going to be in pretty darn good shape. Now, I guess one of the things that I'd like to talk about next is That's the defense. And by the way, I kind of just ran through it. I'm going to actually share you the documents that I have. The other thing is you want to go out and apply for the government components. Again, go to your bank, go to the tax resources I'm going to send to you, and follow what those are within your state and federal area or your province, and see how much capital you can qualify for. This is a good thing. Next thing, what's the offense? I kind of told you the defense. So offense is always good. Defense wins championships, as they say. So the defense will allow you to play defensive in this round of planning out your life, planning out your business. Have conversations with your employer, or if you're working at a full-time job and you're part-time, if you are employing people, have a frank conversation with those people. Okay. And have a frank conversation with distributors in your organization. This is a great time to be using things like Zoom and Facebook and connecting with people and reaching out. People bond during a crisis. So how you show up with your team, with your company, with your family, and with your friends is going to determine their perception of you when this is all over. So maybe your life hasn't been the way that you've wanted. Maybe you haven't won as much as you'd like to. Maybe things haven't gone the way you want, or there's some things that you'd like to overcome in the past. Now is the time for you to step up. This is your time in crisis to be a leader for your family, be a leader in your community, be a leader in your business, and be a leader amongst your friends. So take ownership of that. Have those conversations that people don't want to have. Get comfortable with them. Call people out. Reach them out. Tell them you love them. Tell them you care about them. Tell them you're thinking about them. Those things really come in handy. They're very, very powerful, and they make a difference in the world. So this is a great opportunity, even if things aren't so great for you. Be transparent about it. We will get through this. We will survive this, and just being prudent, being effective, but then being positive and go, what's the great things about this? And I would suggest making a gratitude list every day, going over your gratitude, connect with positive people, talk about the extraordinary conditions that we're in. This is something you're going to be talking about when you're 75, 80, 90 years old down the road in the rocket chair or whatever. These are the moments that define us, and it's a great opportunity for that. And then also, don't think that people might not be interested in getting started in a business right now. They're going to be home doing nothing. So guess what? Get on social media. Talk about the business opportunity that you prevent. Talk about handling things and how that's working for you and things like that. By the way, I want to thank you for all the people that have made the comments. I appreciate that. Again, be that person that is really making a difference for you and your family. This crisis won't last. As Keith says, you will get better at it, and things will get easier over time. So with that, I just want to tell you, I'm thinking about you. I care about you. I'm continuing to do this and sharing the information that I've got from all these people that we pay a whole lot of money for, because I think it's worthwhile, and it helped me think about this. And I am really confident that we're going to do really great, and we're going to come out of this. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be better, and we're going to really knock it out of the park when it's all done. The other thing is, don't forget about what we offer: the disinfectant, the hydration. Don't make any crazy medical claims, please. Don't start saying this cures anything or disinfect. Like just it doesn't need to do that. You disrupt your own credibility when you do those things. So be honest. Tell the truth. Don't exaggerate, but be positively proactive, because that's what's going to make a difference with everybody that you're around. So the bottom line is, it's probably going to take longer than we think. Plan for it. Cut down your expenses. Look at the next 13 weeks on how you're going to survive those things. Find ways to liquidate cash. Find ways to call up your bank, call those things, defer your payments down the road, and go out here and knock this thing out of the park. You guys are great. I love you all. Take care. And we're all in this together. And you know what? We're all going to come out of it stronger. Thanks so much.